You wouldn't notice the house at first. Just another quiet two-story, tucked behind the trees. Shutters drawn, porch swing still. Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. January 2001. The mail piled up. The windows stayed dark. And the phone kept ringing. A quiet, two-story suburban house in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, surrounded by bare winter trees. The shutters are drawn, the porch swing motionless. Snow lightly dusts the rooftop. A stack of untouched mail sits in the mailbox. The windows are completely dark. The scene is framed in cinematic, moody lighting, overcast, with long shadows creeping across the porch. The atmosphere is tense and ominous, with a deep sense of foreboding, as if something terrible lies just beneath the surface. It took 4 days before anyone thought to check inside. What they found wasn't chaos. It wasn't blood on the walls. It was silence, carefully arranged, meticulously buried. Under the basement floor, 5 bodies, 1 killer, and a truth no one saw coming. Robert and Kathy Snyder lived the kind of life people stopped noticing. A modest home, 3 children, 1 with special needs, dinner at 6, church on Sundays. There were no police calls, no scandals, nothing on the surface to suggest what was brewing beneath it. But sometimes monsters don't come from outside. Sometimes they sit across the dinner table and smile. Robert was always a little off, quiet, intense, eyes that didn't quite connect. By the late 90s, something shifted. Coworkers saw it first. The outbursts, the muttering, the long hours spent alone behind the loading dock. At home, the mask slipped further. He kept the blinds closed. He bought locks, not for intruders, but to keep his family in. He paced at night, whispering about government satellites. He said demons were watching. Kathy wrote in her journal, "He's slipping, but no one sees it but me." In October 2000, Kathy's sister made a 911 call. She said Robert was ranting, paranoid, violent, armed. Police showed up and left. He hadn't broken any laws. Not yet. Kathy begged her pastor for help. But in small towns, people don't interfere. They pray, they hope, and they look away. By Christmas, the children weren't smiling in photos. Kathy looked thinner, haunted. In her last voicemail, she said just 6 words. "I think something bad is coming." January 14th, 2001. The night was cold. Still, Robert waited until everyone was asleep. Then he loaded his .38 revolver. He started with Kathy. Then he went room to room. Ben, Emily, Sarah. Each shot was deliberate. Each step measured. There were no signs of struggle, because they trusted him until the very end. He didn't call the police. He didn't flee. He walked to the basement, dug a hole in the earth, and buried his family with his own hands. Days passed. A neighbor noticed the car hadn't moved. The mailman said the box was overflowing, and when no one answered the door, they called it in. Police entered through the side. The living room was clean. Too clean. But in the basement, the earth wasn't right. It was fresh, still damp. They dug, and what they found was unspeakable. Kathy, the children, stacked, wrapped, erased. Robert confessed, calmly. No tears, no remorse, just one sentence. "I had to do it. They were going to suffer." Robert Snyder didn't just kill his family. He killed every warning, every plea, every missed opportunity to intervene. This wasn't a spontaneous break. It was a slow burn. Years of untreated paranoia, abuse, and control. And no one stopped it. Not the police. Not the church. Not the law. Kathy tried. She endured. She protected her children as long as she could. But in the end, it wasn't enough. The Snyder home was demolished. Nothing remains but a grassy lot, green, soft, and eerily still. But stories like this don't disappear. They repeat, in different houses, with different names. You never expect it. Not from someone you know. Not from someone who kisses their children goodnight, but monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they wear wedding bands. Sometimes they eat at your table. And sometimes you don't see the horror until it's far too late. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, help is available. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233